The whole thing about failure has been talked about in by so many motivational speakers. You have people constantly telling you, failure is a prerequisite to success. But why don't people get it? People still don't get it, right? The reason why people don't get it is because of their perception of failure. So let's just define what failure is. What is failure? You tell me, what is failure?
Not succeed.
Not achieving a particular objective that's what people think is failure. Or hitting an obstacle or a hurdle on the way of achieving something. People see that as failure, but that's not failure. That is just a setback. It's just a challenge. It's not failure. Failure is when you have decided to quit and you are not examining every other alternative that's available to you to achieve that goal. So for example, if I want to achieve something and I haven't achieved it within a reasonable time frame, within the time frame that I wanted, have I failed? Not necessarily. As long as I'm still course correcting, if I'm finding other avenues to still try and achieve that, there will be a point that I'm going to hit that target. However, I very strongly believe that it's most of the times when people feel like they've failed, it's not because the target or the objective was unreasonable, it's because the time frame was unreasonable. Okay? So for example, I might say I want to become a multi-millionaire. That might be my goal. And if I'm really determined, I will find a way to become a multi-millionaire. But if I say, I want to become a multi-millionaire in 2 years, the goal is reasonable, but the time frame isn't. So I might need to adjust the time frame. And so that's what happens. A lot of the times people try and achieve something within an unreasonable time frame, and when that doesn't happen, they assume that they failed. What really needs to happen is that they need to have a more realistic time frame. They don't need to adjust the goal, they need to adjust the time frame. And on the path of getting there, success is never a straight line. What's going to happen is they're going to encounter lots of challenges and setbacks, but they need to relabel that as a challenge or a setback, not as failure. So it's the way we perceive failure. We think a setback is failure, or we believe that we have not achieved a particular goal within a certain time frame. That's failure. But both those things can be avoided by relabeling failure. Just don't look at it as failure, look at it as a challenge or a setback. And the second thing you can do is you can reconsider whether your time frame is realistic. Okay, because most things we can achieve within a realistic time frame. And most of the times why people end up feeling demoralized and they become despondent after setbacks is because the time frame was unrealistic.
So how do people overcome, like when failure happens, it happens a few times like on the entrepreneurial journey, and friends and family are saying, well, you're a constant failure. And how does someone change that in their mindset to keep going?
Well, the thing is, apart from having a realistic time frame around achieving your goals, we also need to understand that the vast majority of people who are labeling us a failure are people who are trying to discourage us from trying again. And the reason they're discouraging us from trying again is, number one, either they fear that we'll never make it and we'll end up wasting all our resources of time, or secondly, they are afraid that we will make it and they're trying to discourage us from making it because it will expose the fact that they failed because it didn't work for them. Most of the times when people say you're going to fail, they're projecting their own inadequacies and they're projecting their own failures, and the failure for them happened because they gave up too easily. So what they're trying to do is they're projecting that on you because they don't want to see you succeed, because you succeeding will expose the fact that they gave up too early. So I would just suggest that you ignore the voice, especially the opinions of people who've not even tried themselves. I'm a big advocate of the fact that you should only take advice from people who have the results that you want and are going in the direction that you want to go. Don't take advice from people who have an opinion about something but don't really have experience and don't have the results.